What is archaeology? Archaeology is a study of culture or civilization by excavating and researching artifacts. On February 8, 2011, we visited the UTSA Center for Archaeological Research. At the UTSA Center, we learned how archaeologists uncover the artifacts and tell what kinds of civilizations lived there. Matthew?
After the dig, we learned how archaeologists map the location, weight, and figure out the culture and civilization of that artifact.
What kind of tools did you use when we had the dig?
Shovel.
A shovel?
And a shovel.
Okay, what else?
And measuring tape and yardsticks.
Okay, and then UTSA also had a mock dig for us. Can you tell about that? Can some of y'all start contribute?
When we found an artifact, we would have to brush it, then map it, and when we were finished, well, some of us got bones, others stuff from different cultures. So we had to also say what we guessed the culture was doing and what did it want to do.
We looked at some artifacts at the UTSA Center. They had many artifacts on display like bones, rocks, arrowheads, horns, and medals.
We also saw like the musket bullets, what they used at the Alamo when they had the battle at the Alamo.
Well, we also saw little clay figures and plates, and they were broken, but somehow put back together with every piece.
Anyone else want to contribute?
We also saw a really old sandal that they used to wear back in the ancient times.
That's right. And did it look like a regular sandal? It's a little different.
We pretended to be Native Americans hunting for food. It wasn't easy.
What else can we tell about that experience?
The first fifth grade girl, she hit the deer with an arrowhead, and we decided that she was good for hunting.
She was our hunter because we had two schools there, Lamar Elementary and Hawthorne Academy, so there must have been like 30 students, and we had only one fifth grade girl that was able to hit that deer on target, so we said she was going to be our hunter. Okay, and that was not very, was it very easy doing that? Was it easy? Was you standing very close? That was a great distance.
We toured the warehouse where the artifacts are documented and stored. Some of the artifacts belong to the government, and we couldn't go in that room. We had to brainstorm and choose a culture for our mock dig. We also had to bring some artifacts to bury for the Hawthorne Academy students to uncover.
Okay, so can you tell us something about that warehouse where the government items were stored?
They had over 1,000 artifacts.
Okay, and Matthew, can you tell us something about that too? How did we know that we couldn't go near that area?
Because the archaeologists that were guiding us through the warehouse, they said that we couldn't go back there at all.
Okay.
And even to tell that we couldn't go back there was all these fences up there.
Okay.
As we were digging, one of us found slab. It's like dried clay a little, but it looked like a stone to us. But when we showed it to the archaeologists, they said we were lucky to find it because it's found a lot, but it was the first time we've actually seen it, so we kept it for our school.
It was made, the slab was made because of construction at the school, and there was a couple of shards of them in the underground.
These are pictures from the GT showcase, and inside is pictures from things we had already done.
And can you tell about that? We've also had an archaeological mock dig for all the participants and everyone that attended the GT showcase. And we decided on a different culture. Can you tell them about the culture that we decided on in the archaeological dig?
We decided on a culture for Chinese, and the artifacts that we put in there were bamboo, Chinese cookies, fabric, and chopstick. And a lot of them aged very quickly. And the fortune cookie aged in 3 hours, and it feels all soft.
That's a new one.
And aged very quickly.
Okay.
We learned how our ancestors used the plant materials of the park during the different time periods. They used the plants and trees to make medicine, weave baskets, and twine. They also used some plant parts to fish and hunt.
Davina, do you want to add anything to that part?
When we saw a tree, we asked what were the little black things on it. They were round. Patty told us that the Native Americans called them buckeyes. Little children from the Native Americans used them as marbles.
These are the artifacts that we buried in our mock dig. Okay, do you want to help show some of those?
Artifacts that we buried. Shells, sandals, a pineapple, but we didn't find that because a palm, pieces of ceramic pot,
That's Hawthorne's.
coffee cup with coffee.
Okay, let me ask, Davina, do you remember why we buried a cup with coffee? Want to use the microphone to tell us?
Because mainly coffee grows in Hawaii.
Okay. And why did we add the ginger in there?
Because the ginger, they use ginger.
Okay, because they grow ginger there in Hawaii and also coffee.
Volcanic rock.
Okay. What?
Because they have volcanoes there in Hawaii. And bamboo,
Okay, bamboo grows there.
ginger, and we also discovered with the ginger that it grew underground.
It did grow underground. Okay. So that's what we buried for a Hawthorne to uncover at the mock dig.
And two grapes, but we only found one.
Okay.
Artifacts that Hawthorne buried. Shells, pirate's patch, hula skirt, a piece of palm, flowers, other items.
Other items that we did. Okay.
Since there wasn't a lot of rain, it was hard to dig because the dirt was dry and so was the clay. So it took us a long time. And plus Christina, the thing that took us the most was Christina's 2 pineapples because she was very curious to see how they looked after a couple months. So was I, but when we didn't find them, we made up the story of Pineopatra as a Cleopatra.
So when Hawthorne was undigging our artifacts, they did not find the pineapple, so that was a mystery. Okay.
Then we had to look at the artifacts and decide which civilization they belonged to. Guess what? Both schools selected the same culture, Hawaii.
Okay.
What do archaeologists do learn from the artifacts? What is the environment like? What kind of activities did they have? What did the culture eat? What did the culture wear? What did the culture have a writing system? Did the culture have a religion?
Okay, I just wanted to add, we also had a terracotta pot, planter pot, and Matthew and Soren, can you tell about that pot? What did we do with that?
We drew designs all over the pot just to show our religion and our culture, and to show like what we wore, and what we ate.
Okay, something from the Hawaiian culture, right? Soren, do you remember what else that the group drew?
Volcanoes, teepees, waves, I think, palm trees.
Okay.
I think we should all give our opinion. Christina, what was your best part?
The digging.
Digging, okay.
And she was very determined to find the pineapple pieces that she brought, because after Hawthorne Academy, they unburied the items that we put in there. And so then after they left, they had a chance to go look at our site. And so she was very determined. She's like, I have to find that pineapple. And we just never found it.
The field trips.
I'd have to say my best part was all of it, because all of it was fun. Although the field trip to UTSA wasn't that far.
Okay.
Mostly was what we had learned from all of it, get all of the education from the archaeologists, and they tried to give us the best learning possibility from them as much as they could, to take them around to in the warehouse, and for them to do the dig with us, and also for y'all trying to get us to go to Brackenridge, and it was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot.
I want to know about the pineapple, okay? Was it a whole pineapple or was it chopped up pieces of pineapple?
It was in cut in half, but like two slices.
They put two halves in.
2 halves of a whole pineapple.
And we showed you, if you want to come help us look for it.
And you found none of it. What do you think happened to it?
I think the bugs ate it.
Either that or decay.
Either that or decay. We had a long, hard days of doing that, but we were all very excited on the first day, but we didn't know, like, we had a little mini adventure ahead of us looking for artifacts. Even though our teacher did tell us, we didn't know it would be that hard. But some of us want to be archaeologists. Who knows what we'll do with our lives.
Thank you so much to our presenters. That was a great presentation, and obviously you guys did a great job on your project and learned a lot. And I think we all learned something here tonight from you guys, so thank you for doing that. Each year we try to give back some of the money that we get from our home tour and some of our other events in the neighborhood to Lamar Elementary. And Sharon Robinson, do you want to come up? The president of Lamar Elementary.
Thank you so much. The students, thank you for letting our students present to you tonight. They had a wonderful time. As you can hear from them, they really enjoyed being able to go on the different activities, and we had a lot of students that wanted to participate, but due to funding, they weren't able to. So hopefully we'll get our students will get a chance next year. So thank you so much again.